call the roll. Mr. Hastings, please.
Mr. Brady?
Here.
Mr. Dalton?
Here.
Mrs. Dam? Mrs. Gilman?
Here.
Mrs. McGovern?
Here.
Mr. Schneider? Ms. Stevens?
Present.
Mrs. Talarico? Mr. McCarthy?
Here. All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to our work session for May 20th, 2025. Thank you for joining us if you're online, and thank you for joining us if you're in the room, Dr. Morgan. I have nothing for my president's report. We will go to Mrs. Weldon, superintendent's report, if she has one.
I do, thank you, Mr. President. Okay, so we are well underway with NJSLA testing in all of our schools. So I want to congratulate the students who have already been testing for coming to school ready to do their absolute best. And we like to say, don't stress, but do your best. And I am very pleased to see how hard our students are working. I also want to wish all the students who have not tested yet good luck on their assessments. And again, don't stress, but please do your best. We have a number of upcoming events. Again, it seems to be a recurring statement these last few meetings, but we do have a number of great events coming up. We have our Leona Burke Worth Math Awards tomorrow night in the TOIS cafeteria. That's at 6:30. We have our 7th and 8th grade choir concert next Wednesday, May 28th at TOIS. That's at 7 p.m. Wanamassa's PTA Boys Dance is on Thursday, May 29th at 6 p.m. And the TOIS volleyball game, students versus staff, is Thursday, May 29th at 7 p.m. at TOIS. And then just as a reminder, all district schools are closed this coming Monday, May 26th, in recognition of Memorial Day. Okay? And we will have a large report at 8 p.m. Where we get to honor a number of students and staff for great achievements in our district. But that concludes my report for the work meeting.
Thank you, Mrs. Weldon. Mr. Hastings, anything for school business administrator report?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to, again, thank the maintenance, grounds, and custodial staff for the work they're doing on keeping the fields in shape. We've had lots of rain, and it seems to rain every other day, but they've been at it, keeping the fields playable for our teams, and we certainly appreciate their efforts. Also, just want to touch base. We continue to meet with administration and our facilities folks in planning for summer projects and some exciting upgrades that we have planned for the summer, including new bleachers at Ocean Elementary, new gym floor at the intermediate school. We have some security upgrades going in, new equipment at the high school cafeteria, and of course our auditorium lights to be installed along with the sound system over the summer. So we're looking forward to some exciting things getting done.
Thank you, Mr. Hastings. Appreciate that. Just the rain makes the lawns look good, just not the fields playable. You know, to see an unfortunate situation.
If I may just interrupt,
Please
Mrs.
go.
Tellerico is online. I'm not sure if we've heard her say present, but she is there online.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I just heard her. Okay, great. All right, public comment on any item. Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters of community interest. Public comment is not a question and answer session. Specific questions can be directed to the administration, and the superintendent's contact information is on our district website. We encourage you to contact her with any questions you may have. Public participation shall be governed by the following rules. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 5 minutes in duration. No participant may speak more than once on the same topic until all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard. The presiding officer may request any person to leave the meeting when that person does not observe reasonable decorum. Do we have anyone from the public who would like to comment on anything at this time? Do we have anyone downstairs?
There are no commenters downstairs.
Thank you. Dr. Morgan, did you have anything you wanted to say to us?
No.
Didn't think so, but I figured it could be an opportunity. All right, great. And Mrs. Conway, do we have any commenters in the queue?
Yes, we do. Alex Hayes,
Thank
please
you.
go
Go
ahead.
Hi, Alex Hayes from Oakhurst.
it seems all my messages, or not messages, public comments and questions fall on deaf ears anyway. I know you're not going to respond or maybe do any action, but it's nice to have these things on the public record. From what I understand from the use of facilities forums from this evening, which has been happening for several years now, for example, the Ocean United Soccer Association has basically put in a blanket Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for literally every single weekend between September and I think it was the end of March for use of the turf field. There also was a blanket use of facilities for the fields at the high school. I forget the dates on those, but there are 2 separate applications for like September through end of December, and then like January 1st till the end of March. So it's ludicrous to me that one organization can X out for other organizations onto our scheduling calendar when there is no way ever they use those fields between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays every single weekend for what they have signed up for. So I wish this district committees maybe or other folks actually cared to look into this. If you want to start renting out the turf field, maybe you don't give it away for pennies for 9 hours a day every weekend for what, 8 months? I can't even do the math. Anyway, I'm sure nothing will be done, but there's my comments. Thanks.
Thank you, Mrs. Hayes. Mrs. Conway, any other commenters in the queue?
No, Mr. President, there are no further commenters.
Wonderful. Mr. Dalton, presentation of minutes, please.
Yes, Mr. McCarthy, presentation of minutes, item 7.1 from May 13th meeting, both the work meeting and the executive session minutes. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Wonderful. Personnel?
We will do downstairs. Thank you.
Thank you. Financial management and resource services. I do not have Mrs. Dan with us this evening. Mrs. McGovern, would you please take control?
Sure. We have 9 items for discussion this evening. I don't know if Mr. Hastings wants to give us a rundown.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. McGovern. I would just point to 2 items. One is a donation from the Wanamassa PTA of some basketball hoops, so we appreciate their efforts in getting those out for the kids. And second, we have our budget resolution on. We submitted last month's budget resolution to the county office. The county office, in that first table that's presented in the resolution, asked us to break out a cost. So if you look at last month's resolution, line number 86,000 was a combined line. They asked us to break that out between 86,000 and 86,020. And that was an adjustment on some salaries that needed to go back into the regular budget. So they asked us just to expand that to be clear and more transparent in the resolution. Other than that, the remaining items I think are self-explanatory. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Brown and Metro and Bucklew are both for insurance purposes. I believe they're insurance brokers. Is that correct?
Yeah, so Brown Metro is our healthcare insurance broker. So this is a renewal for 1 year. And then Connor Strong handles our liability insurance. And again, that's a 1 year renewal for them. And we'll probably look to go out to bid in the fall for brokers, as is good practice. And I'll just mention the last item since they were on them. 9.7 again is a sort of an annual renewal. So the board has different individuals that are assigned different titles. So each year we acknowledge those people for to follow the regulations and to show that we have folks appointed to these things. So again, we're approving a list of folks, as you can see there.
Do you have any questions from the board on any of those items for finance?
I just have a general question on bidding. I know that in years past, we've kind of been on a schedule of what things were going out to bid and what wasn't, what we were gonna, like you just said, for the Brown and Brown and, for those 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way we can, well, I don't know if the board wants, to just know at some point, what you think is upcoming of what we might want to be looking for bidding wise. I know like in years past when we were going out for food services only comes to mind because
You
it's
mean
one.
RFP?
RFP, I'm sorry, RFP,
Clarify.
that's what I mean, RFPs. So just like some of the things that are coming up for RFP, because I know when things were coming up, so like when food service was coming up and I was on finance, like I would just kind of try and do a little bit of my own research on, some of, just food service companies around here or in the world. And I don't know that other people want to know that, or maybe it's just a finance committee thing, just to kind of know what's on the horizon. Or, we kind of had every 3 years we would do this because doing it every year doesn't make sense for anybody.
Right.
Unless you have an issue with somebody, there's no need to go to RFP every year. But if there's certain things, or just certain things that you think are gonna come up that you think need to go to RFP,
Right, so the comptroller's office, state comptroller's office puts out guidance
Okay.
on bidding for schools and for public entities. Their guidance says typically good practice is every 5 years to go back out to refresh those bids and get new pricing and get fresh eyes in for some of the different professional services. I've been with the district for now 2 years, coming up on 2 years, so wanted to get a feel for who we have and not just change them immediately because I was new. So we will start to look at those. We talked about the auditor at some point last December. So we'll look at next year to perhaps roll out some of those. And we do have a schedule of contracts that will be on the agenda next month that shows all the contracts that we have and when those were entered into. So
So I don't know that I need a report, but similar to what you
that
just
report is
said.
required from
Right.
us anyway, but it
Okay.
does provide the board
Right.
with the information.
So like
Which is why
similar,
they
yeah, like similar to what you just
require
said,
it.
well, we're gonna probably do this, next month. So when the RFPs next month come, maybe you say like, this one we're good for 5 more years, this one's 2 years or whatever, as you
Right.
reported out.
And there's slightly different processes for different,
Of
so the
course.
broker is not an RFP, it's a different process.
Right.
It's required to be followed in professional services through RFP and then just general bids, so.
Thank you, I appreciate the answer.
So to clarify, your request is that we just announce the schedule of
Just-
when we're gonna, how long these things are.
I think just when Mr. Hastings is reporting out similar to how he did today, he just said next month some things are gonna be coming up. So maybe as he's saying, similar to what he just said, Brown and Brown, we're gonna look to go, not out of Brown and Brown, but say that's something we're gonna look at next year. Just as he's doing that, if he just adds that sentence, then I'm satisfied with that. If you guys are okay with just knowing, kind of just know what's coming.
All right, so we just take a straw poll for that as the majority of the board. Yes, yes, yes. Mrs. Talarico?
I do have a question about that, because I'm glad that Ms. McGovern brought up about the finance committee. Can you hear me?
Go to that.
Yeah.
Mrs. Talarico?
I can't hear you.
She didn't hear your question.
Can you answer yes or no to that straw poll vote?
Well, that was my question about that.
Okay, what is the question?
My question is, when was the last finance committee meeting, and can we have a committee meeting to discuss some of what we're talking about? And also about the facilities.
We can take that question in a moment. The question on the floor right now is whether or not, yes or no, would you like to see this kind of report from Mr. Hastings regularly?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, now, finance committee meeting. That's your question, is when is the next time that we can have a meeting?
But when was the last one? Because I'm kind of new on this committee, so I'd like to know when the last one was, and if we can also have one, in the near future to discuss the facilities usage.
Okay, so
Thank you.
Mrs. Dam is not currently present for the meeting, and she's the sitting committee chair. So I think we can pause that until she returns. I'm not aware of a previous committee meeting, to answer your question, for this calendar year. As we are a board of the whole, it is not necessarily a requirement unless business requires it. So if you're requesting that, we can bring that to the attention of Mrs. Dam when she returns,
May I just add?
and we can go from there.
Okay. I can definitely reach out to her as well. Thank you.
I just wanted to add that while I've been superintendent, we have not had a finance committee meeting. The board has always requested that the full board get to hear all of the financial information that we're sharing. So we have never met, while I have been superintendent, as a subcommittee to discuss anything without the full board. Just to add to that.
Okay, thank you. Instruction, education, and student activities, Mr. Dalton.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. 10-1 was discussed in executive session, as that's privileged information. 10-2, we have school field trips, and 10-3, new textbooks for 25-26 school year. Any topics of discussion there?
Comments or questions on 10-3 only, as the other two were.
Right. No? Okay.
Same ground.
Just one question, that the AP Lang book that's being ordered is going to replace the one that they are using now,
Yes,
Dr. Morgan?
yes, it will replace the one that they're using.
because that one
It's
was
an
pretty,
updated one, yes,
so this is an updated,
yes.
thank you.
Any other questions or comments from members of the board? Okay, do I have any old business from any members of the board? Ms. Gilman.
Yes, I just wanted to make note of the passing of one of the members of our Spartan family, and that is Mr. Tony Gardella, who was really a pillar of the English department at the high school. And Mr. Gardella was an outstanding English teacher, class advisor. He was a colleague, friend to many, and I know there are many people in town that are going to remember Mr. Gardella.
Thank you, Ms. Gilman. Appreciate that. Any other old business from any members of the board?
Just a comment. I know that, I think it was yesterday, we had a survivor from the Holocaust.
Yes.
How was that?
Yes, it was excellent. So we had Maud Dami, who has visited our district many times, and we're very,
Okay.
very lucky to have her do. So I also would like to give credit to Allison Connolly, who organizes that every year. And this year she visited TOIS to speak to our fifth graders who have studied the Holocaust and read Jacob's Rescue, a novel about a child who was hidden during the Holocaust. And she tells her story of being a hidden child in the Holocaust. And it's very moving. And our fifth graders were outstanding. They were a captive audience for a solid hour. I think some of the adults were antsier than the students for sitting for that long, but she just grabs your attention and she tells such a wonderful story. And we're so lucky that she visits us. And this year, to also come see her were the Commissioner of Education, the Assistant Commissioner of Education, and the County Executive Superintendent. So it was really nice to have these guests and to be able to hear her story again. It was wonderful. Thank you for asking.
Great, of course, it sounds great.
Any other old business from members of the board? Wonderful. Any new business from any members of the board? Nothing. All right. We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Wonderful. Reconvene in 40 minutes.